Welcome! Manhasset High School has signed on with Passport for Good to make your community service submissions much easier. The web and mobile application software will be used for the Senior Graduation Requirement, Service and Citizenship Award, and the Presidential Volunteer Service Award. Some important things to note for this transition. As of March 1st, paper submissions to the Counseling Department or Mrs. Steindem will no longer be accepted. Hours that have been submitted via paper will be kept on file and assessed in addition to your electronic submissions. For the Senior Graduation Requirement, all retroactive hours will be imported, and these will appear as singular events with your total hours submitted to date. If you have completed your community service requirement but have not yet submitted your essay, please turn in a hard copy of your essay directly to Mrs. Steindem. And finally, reminder that all hours for your Senior Graduation Requirement are due for submission no later than April 15th. Now let's get started. Your administration has imported your account information into Passport for Good. To log in for the first time, open a new browser and go to www.p4g.app. When you arrive at the login screen, click Forgot Password. Then enter your mufsd.org email address. You cannot use a personal email address for this account. When you finish typing, click Send Email. This will send an email to your mufsd.org email address to reset your password. Open up your email and click on Create New Password. This is where you get to create the password for your account. Enter your password twice, and then click Reset Password when you're finished. Next, click on the Click Here to Log In hyperlink. This will take you back to the original login page. Enter your email address and new password, and then click Log In. This will bring you to the Passport for Good homepage. The process is essentially the same on your mobile phone. After completing the password reset flow, you can reopen the app and enter your new login credentials. Now that you're logged in, you'll be placed on your dashboard. Before doing anything else, you will need to join the awards you would like to submit hours for. To do this, click on My Groups. Under Manhasset High School, you will notice that you are already joined to your graduating class group. For seniors, this is the group you will be submitting your senior graduation requirements to. To join the award programs, click Join More Groups to the right of Manhasset High School. Click Join next to the award programs you would like to participate in. Please note that the submission deadline for the 2018 Presidential Volunteer Service Award has passed. You can access the dashboard for groups or awards you are a member of 24/7 by clicking on the name. Here you will see the contact information of the award advisor, as well as a list of other classmates that are also applying for the award. To return to your dashboard, click on the P4G logo in the top left corner. Now that you've joined your award programs, you can start submitting entries. But first, here are some important things to note before performing community service hours. Make sure the event you will be attending is acceptable for your award program. There is nothing worse than finding out after your service that your hours are not acceptable. Also, bring a copy of the Passport for Good supervisor letter with you when you volunteer. This letter will give the supervisor of the community service event information on why you need their name and email address, as well as how to verify your hours. And finally, a valid supervisor is required on all entries. Hours will not be applied to your award program unless they have been verified by a valid event supervisor. So, you've performed community service. You have the event supervisor's name and email address. You're ready to enter and submit your entries. To begin, click on Add Experience. On the calendar, select the day you performed community service. Then select the award program or programs you'd like to submit your hours to. Enter the name of the event. Ensure the date of the event is correct, and enter the time you started your volunteer hours. Then, select the purpose of the event. The purpose can be defined as the benefit category of the nonprofit, such as animals, education and literacy, or hunger. Enter the address of where the community service hours took place. The event supervisor will be providing the name and address of the nonprofit organization before approving your hours. Rate the event on a scale of 1 to 5. The rating should be focused on the overall organization of the event and how you liked participating. Enter the amount of time you performed community service. Then, enter the supervisor's information. Remember, this is required. If hours are submitted without a supervisor, they may not be applied to your award. If you do not have a supervisor, please contact your award advisor. Next, enter your reflection. Your reflection should follow these guidelines. Write a brief description of the mission of the organization and of the volunteer work you performed. How did the activity benefit the community? How did you benefit from participating? How have you grown as a result of the experience? Would you volunteer again with this organization in the future? Would you recommend this volunteer opportunity to other students? If you would or would not, please explain. These requirements are available on the Manhasset High School Community Service page. Please note that it is always best practice to type your reflection into a Word document first and then copy and paste it into the reflection field. You never know what the internets will do. After entering your reflection, click Save at the bottom of the screen. Once you've submitted, you will be brought to the My Entries page and should see your new entry as pending in the table. Let's return to the dashboard and dive into the passport. To access your passport, click on My Passport. The hours shown here are only those that have been verified by the supervisor. Click on View All in the My Entries table to review your pending entries. This view will show you all of your entries and their stamp status. Orange stamps are pending a stamp from the event supervisor. Green stamps signify the entry has been stamped by the event supervisor, and red stamps mean that the supervisor has denied a stamp. In addition to the organization supervisor's stamp, the Manhasset Award supervisor will be giving final approval. They will be reviewing each experience and validating that the supervisor is real and the nonprofit meets the award requirements. To edit an entry, click on the pencil icon. Please note, you can only edit the hours, rating, and reflection. If you would like to change the awards the hours have been submitted to, you must delete this entry and add a new one. If this is the case, be sure to copy and paste your reflection before deleting so that you don't have to write it again. Coming back to the passport, you have a section called Journal. The journal will show you the rating and reflection for all the stamped entries you've submitted. To export your journal into an Excel file, click Export. The Excel file will be emailed to the email address you used to log into Passport for Good, which should be your school email address. And that's it. Let's review the important stuff. Passport for Good will be used for the Senior Graduation Requirement, Service and Citizenship Award, and the Presidential Volunteer Service Award. Some important things to take note of. As of March 1st, paper submissions to the Counseling Department or Mrs. Steindem will no longer be accepted. Hours that have been submitted via paper will be kept on file and assessed in addition to your electronic submissions. For the Senior Graduation Requirement, all retroactive hours will be imported, and these will appear as singular events with your total hours submitted to date. If you have completed your community service requirement but have not yet submitted your essay, please turn in a hard copy of your essay directly to Mrs. Steindem. And a reminder that all hours for your senior graduation requirement are due for submission no later than April 15th. Before performing community service hours, make sure the event you will be attending is acceptable for your award program. Bring a copy of the Passport for Good supervisor letter with you, and make sure to have a valid supervisor to verify all entries. Again, your reflection should follow these guidelines. Write a brief description of the mission of the organization and of the volunteer work you performed. Reflect on how the activity benefited the community and how you benefited from participating. How you have grown as a result of this experience, and whether or not you would volunteer again with this organization in the future. And finally, would you recommend this volunteer opportunity to other students? If you experience a bug in the system, please send an email to support@passportforgood.com. Thank you so much for doing good here in Manhasset, New York.